Well, that was not the way the Philadelphia Phillies wanted to begin their playoff run here in 2025 to start the NLDS against the Los Angeles Dodgers on Saturday night to kick off that NLDS series. Game one of that series, the Phillies lost to the Dodgers 5-3 to go down, obviously 0-1. Dodgers have that 1-0 lead over the Phillies here in the NLDS. Off on Sunday, game two here today on Monday. 6:08 start time at Citizens Bank Park. Yet again, another home game for the Phillies against the Dodgers, trying to get back on track. Luckily for them, after that tough 5-3 loss on Saturday night to begin that series, the Phillies did have this off day here on Sunday, yesterday, to regroup, to get back into the things. Obviously, they had about a week off of action, having that first round bye, so it is tough to get back into game action, especially against a very good Dodgers team who was coming off a very impressive series win in the wildcard round over the Cincinnati Reds. Again, game two of this NLDS here tonight at Citizens Bank Park. 6:08 start time. Jesus Luzardo on the mound for the Phillies. It doesn't get much easier though for the Phillies offense. Blake Snell is starting for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Very good pitcher. He was incredible in his win over the Reds in the wild card round. I expect nothing more than that again here on Monday here today in this game two of this National League Divisional Series against the Dodgers. Welcome into Phillies Daily, everybody. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Now, the Phillies offense, they did get to Shohei Ohtani early in game one Saturday night. Shohei Ohtani, if you remember, a couple of weeks ago in about mid-September, he did face the Phillies. The Phillies were shut out by Ohtani. He threw 5 no-hit shutout innings against the team, but they got to him early on Saturday in game one. They scored 3 runs in the second inning, a very electric second inning for the Phillies. They took an early 3-0 lead over the Dodgers. It was looking great, obviously. Citizens Bank Park had that electric home atmosphere, that crowd behind them. Tough situation for the Dodgers to go down 3-0 early in the ballgame like that against a very good Phillies team in a very hostile environment. JT Realmuto hit a 2 RBI triple in that second inning. Harrison Bader, he hit a sacrifice fly. Early 3-0 lead for the Phillies. Harrison Bader also made a great play in the field during that game, but he did leave the game later on with a hamstring/groin type of injury. Test came back that everything looked fine. He avoided something serious. We're not sure how that's going to affect him moving forward in the series and in this playoffs, if he's going to miss any time, if he's going to be in the game here today on Monday or not. We'll see what happens. He did say he wants to be out there. Obviously, he wants to help this team win. He wants to help this team hopefully win a World Series championship here in 2025. But the Phillies offense, after that second inning, they just went ice cold, went quiet, had that 3 runs there early in the ballgame that were pretty much nothing else. I believe they only had 5 hits, I believe, all game long. Obviously, just those 3 runs, losing that ball game 5-3. I think they were 1 for 7, 1 for 6, one of them with runners in scoring position. Just not good stuff out of the Phillies offense overall. The second inning, that was it. You can't be doing that in a playoff game against a very good team like the Dodgers. You got to come clutch, come through in those big moments with those hits, driving in runs, getting on the board. You can't just rely on 1 3-run inning and then hope you win that ballgame, especially early in the ballgame when teams are just adjusting and getting ready. Obviously, as the game goes on, they can score runs, and the Dodgers did just that, and they won that ballgame 5-3 to take a 1-0 lead here over the Phillies in the NLDS. Now, Christopher Sanchez, he was on the mound for the Phillies in game one on Saturday. Usually it's Zach Wheeler in these situations, but Zach Wheeler, we all know, later in the season, was diagnosed with that thoracic outlet syndrome, had surgery on it, out for the rest of the season, out for the playoffs. The Phillies are missing him big time. Christopher Sanchez, though, he's an ace himself. He has been electric, dominant all season here in 2025, even last year in 2024 when he was an all-star for the Phillies. So he stepped up to the task, and he filled in for the game one starter to begin the Phillies playoff run, and he looked dominant through the first 5 innings. Very solid stuff out of Christopher Sanchez. He had allowed just 2 hits, 1 walk. He did hit a batter, but 0 earned runs and 7 strikeouts through those first 5 innings in game one on Saturday over the Dodgers. Again, looked very good. In fact, he struck out Shohei Ohtani, one of the best, if not the best players in Major League Baseball, one of the best hitters. Obviously, he's a two-way guy. He was pitching for the Dodgers there as well in game one. But he struck out Shohei Ohtani 3 times in that ballgame. Once swinging, twice looking. Just good stuff out of Christopher Sanchez, holding back and shutting down one of the top talents in Major League Baseball. However, Sanchez did run into some trouble in that 6th inning in game one. He did get the first two outs of the inning via a ground out and then a strikeout to start that 6th inning. It was looking good. It was looking like he was going to get through 6 innings. The Phillies were going to get through that with a 3-0 lead heading into the last 3 innings of the ball game. But after those first 2 outs, he allowed a single and then a 2 RBI double. So, first, I should mention, he allowed a walk to Freddie Freeman of the Dodgers. 2-out walks, they are going to come back and haunt you. It did just that for Christopher Sanchez. 2-out walks, leadoff walks, it always comes around to bite you in the butt. It seems like you just can't be doing that. Unfortunately, after Christopher Sanchez got that ground out and strikeout to start the 6th inning, he did walk Freddie Freeman with 2 outs, and then it was the single, so 2 runners on base with 2 outs. Still could have got out of that jam, but then he allowed that 2 RBI double. Still, the Phillies had a 3-2 lead, and then with those 2 runners still on base, or I should say with that 1 runner still on base there for the Dodgers in that top of the 6th inning, Phillies started the 3-2 lead. Rob Thompson took out Christopher Sanchez, replaced him with veteran reliever David Robertson. Obviously, he's had a ton of experience. He was picked up by the Phillies late in the season for his 3rd stint with the team. He's had playoff experience throughout his career with the Phillies, without the Phillies. He's been around for a long time. He came into that tough situation, high leverage type of situation, and he recorded the final out of that 6th inning to get out of it with still that 3-2 lead over the Dodgers. Christopher Sanchez's final line was 5 2/3 innings, 4 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 2 earned runs, and 8 strikeouts. Still very good outing for Christopher Sanchez. Gave the Phillies a good chance to win. Unfortunately, they came up on the short end there in Game 1, and that leads to the questionable decision by Rob Thompson. He, after taking Christopher Sanchez out, putting David Robertson in there in the 6th inning, he had David Robertson go back out there for the 7th inning to start that inning. Not uncommon for guys like that. Some relievers can go sit down, come back out, and pitch more than just the 1 inning. He was hoping David Robertson could do that. He threw just 6 pitches in that 6th inning to get that last out after coming in relief for Christopher Sanchez. So 6 pitches under his belt. He sat down for the Phillies half of the inning while they were hitting, and he went back out there to pitch the top of the 7th inning. Unfortunately, Rob Thompson's decision did not prove to be the right one for the Phillies and David Robertson. He allowed a leadoff single, and then he hit a batter with no outs. So there was runners on 1st and 2nd, no outs. Still a 1-run lead for the Phillies, 3-2. Again, it's tough for some relievers, for most relievers, to come into a ballgame without all that adrenaline pumping, especially in the playoffs, to get that high leverage out in a jam in the 6th inning like David Robertson did. Then go sit down, kind of take a breather, take a rest, and then have to get that adrenaline going again off the bench and get back out there in a 1-run playoff ball game with so much on the line. And it just wasn't David Robertson's night in that aspect, and it wasn't the right decision for Rob Thompson, in my opinion, to send out the veteran reliever back out there for the 7th inning. He did, though. He allowed that leadoff single, the hit by pitch, no outs. He brought in Matt Strahm to face Shohei Ohtani, lefty-on-lefty matchup. It worked out for him in that situation, a very high-leverage situation for Matt Strahm, obviously going up against one of the best talents in Major League Baseball with 2 runners on, with no outs in a 1-run ball game. He struck out Shohei Ohtani. It was his 4th strikeout of the ball game. Shohei Ohtani at the plate. 3 strikeouts looking, 1 strikeout swinging. You got to take advantage in these ball games and win that when one of the best talents in Major League Baseball are not having a good game. The Phillies did not. They lost that ball game with Ohtani striking out 4 times for the Dodgers. Matt Strahm, though, he did get Mookie Betts, another tough out, one of the better players, did not have a great year in 2025, but he has had plenty of success in his career, especially coming up clutch in playoffs as well. But he did get Mookie Betts in that situation in that 7th inning to pop up for the 2nd out of the inning. Infield pop-up, I should say, too. So the runners were still set in their spots at 1st and 2nd with now 2 outs. But then Teoscar Hernandez, a very good hitter for the Dodgers, one of the best hitting outfielders in Major League Baseball. He came up with 2 outs, with 2 runners on in that 3-2 lead for the Phillies in the 7th inning against Matt Strahm, and he hit a go-ahead 3-run home run, an absolute dagger to the Phillies. 3-run go-ahead home run for Teoscar Hernandez. The Dodgers took a 5-3 lead over the Phillies there in the 7th inning. Obviously, Matt Strahm was frustrated, as were the Phillies, and the fans silenced the crowd. Teoscar Hernandez with that 3-run home run. The Phillies ended up losing that ball game 5-3, so that's really all the Dodgers needed with that home run. Again, just a very late dagger, but the Phillies did not have, it's not like they didn't have chances. They did have late chances after that. They still had the bottom of the 7th inning. They still had the 8th inning. They still had the 9th inning. Just a 2-run ball game against a Dodgers bullpen that is not good. But the Phillies could not capitalize. They failed to capitalize on their late chances there in the ball game. They had bases loaded with 2 outs. Now, 2 outs is tough to score, obviously, but still, they had bases loaded in the 8th inning, 2 outs. Edmundo Sosa came in to pinch hit for Brandon Marsh, but he did fly out to center field for that final out of the inning. Phillies didn't come through in that situation with bases loaded there in the 8th inning to at least try to cut the deficit to 1 run, maybe even tie up the ball game, or even take the lead there with bases loaded. But no runs scored. Phillies still trailed the Dodgers 5-3 after that 8th inning. Max Kepler in the 9th inning, he hit a double with 1 out in that 9th inning, still down 5-3, obviously a 2-run ball game, 2-run deficit. But the Phillies had a little bit of a rally maybe, starting with Max Kepler having that double with less than 2 outs, runner in scoring position. But then Nick Castellanos, who came in a little bit earlier in the ball game for Harrison Bader, who left with that injury. He came up to the plate there after Max Kepler's double. He grounded out, but he grounded out to the right side, so Kepler was able to advance to third base, so 90 feet away to try to score a run. There was 2 outs, though, however. Bryson Stott, we've seen him come up with many clutch hits during the regular season, during the playoffs. Obviously, that playoff grand slam against the Miami Marlins in the wild card round a few years ago. Electric stuff at Citizens Bank Park for Bryson Stott. He's done it before. So with 1 swing of the bat, he could have tied it up there for the Phillies 5-5 late in the 9th inning with 2 outs against the Dodgers. However, Bryson Stott, he fouled out to third base, and that was the end of the ball game. The Phillies lost Game 1 of the NLDS to the Dodgers 5-3. They now trail that series down 1-0 to the Dodgers, heading into Game 2 here tonight at Citizens Bank Park against the Dodgers. They need to win this. It's not necessarily a must-win ball game, but in all sense, it really is a must-win ball game for the Phillies. You can't lose both games at home. Go to LA on Wednesday with the Dodgers having a chance to sweep them, to win, and move on to the NLCS. And even so, even if you win that game, being down 2-0 after these 2 games in LA, you still have to play Game 4 in LA with another chance for the Dodgers to win and move on. And then if not, you still have to try to win again at home at Citizens Bank Park in Game 5. It's just very tough. So the Phillies, it really is a must-win game for them here tonight against the Dodgers at home to split this series 1-1 heading to LA. Jesus Luzardo on the mound tonight against Blake Snell, going to be a tough matchup for the Phillies offense. They have had success against Snell in the past in his career, so hopefully they do have some success. They do bounce back after that tough loss to the Dodgers in Game 1 on Saturday. Hopefully Sunday was a good day for them to regroup and get ready to go win a ball game here tonight on Monday to even up the series. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Phillies Daily. I'm your host, Mike Kennelly. Make sure you guys like, comment, share, and subscribe for more Phillies content right here on Phillies Daily. Tough loss Saturday to kick off that NLDS, but hopefully the Phillies regroup and they are back at it with a win here tonight on Monday to even up the series. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, go Phils.